There is the arbitration guy, and if we go to this, oh, it was the systems. I didn't know which one to build. Can finally pick up bleeding body ephemera. There is a few things I want from this, but I think for now that is slightly more important. It's basically just that. But now that Vitus Essence is much easier to get, I got 6 from 20 waves. Much easier to get. I'm going to pick this up and waste a small fortune building it. If it wasn't for the fact that you need solar toroids, Vendo alloys, and the Thirsk to build this, because you need her systems before you can do anything. And as you could probably imagine, yes, I'm going to do that. Go to this, go bleeding. Now it is ready to build. 3-day build. 10,000 Kova and 1,000,000 credits. That is just complete insanity. The cost of building the ephemeras is just nuts. And I need to get that out of there. You can go in now. Go back into here. I have on, at the moment, the one from Nightwave. What I want to do is take off the spores and put on blood. There's the big problem with this straight off. It does have a lovely effect, ignoring the bit at the bottom, which I will get rid of by some kind of weird magical effect, but it uses the energy colour of your frame, whatever that happens to be. Go back into attachments. No colour selected whatsoever. Equip it now. Now it's red. I know that they have called this bleeding, or bleeding body ephemera, but it doesn't really look like it's coming from the body. There are a lot of other things that, well, there is the animation effect that has that weird bleeding. Is it the animation that does it, or was it something else? I cannot now remember. No, it's this. It's a sigil, isn't it? For bleeding. And that is just nowhere near the colour it's supposed to be, which is good. It's blue. It's not red. It's supposed to be red. With that equipped as well, yes, it will look kind of bloody. But not going to equip that because it honestly only goes well on one frame. And as much as I would love to go, well, you leave this lovely trail of blood behind you, you kind of do as you're moving around. It's not amazing, it still falls, but it still looks more like paint than anything else. That one big droplet in the middle there, you would have noticed that one of my big complaints about this, it's gone. There you go, I just put the blood back in frost. And there you go, I just took it back out of frost. It just looks weird. And we're also using the wrong frame. You're all going to see it, so I may as well just give it to Garuda so she can wander around. It was built using her parts, so it probably goes best if we put it on her. And as much as I'm trying to hate on this thing because kind of am and kind of on all at the same time, I like this. The fact that it doesn't look too much like blood. It looks kind of like paint. They haven't taken it too serious, and I like it for that. It looks really, it's way too many effects coming off at once. When in motion, it's fine. The droplets you leave behind are great, but when you're standing still, not so much. They just kind of pour out of it. I would love to have seen this pool when you stop as a pool of blood, or sorry, a pool of paint on the floor, because that would have looked cool. And we know they can do this because the Spores Ephemera and the Prime Ephemera both have effects that don't kick in until you are standing still. And know for a fact that it's way too early to turn around and say the Ephemeras need to be revisited, but this, when you are standing still, should pool on the floor. if I'm being brutally honest, that right there is the only downside to this Ephemera, apart from the fact that it's in arbitrations, and it's much easier to get now than it was before, which makes it even better and even easier to get. I just wish it pooled on the floor. If it pooled on the floor, it'd be great. It doesn't, so I'm not going to say it isn't. It is still a nice looking Ephemera. If you don't have one, this is actually pretty easy to get. Expensive, but 10,000 Kova is, people will say it's easy to get, but it's not. And the only reason I had 6 Vitus Essence from that mission instead of 5 is because I have the resource booster on the go, which means I picked up 2 instead of 1, so I have 1 spare now. I needed 1, it dropped 1. Yeah, I just had a spare 1 because I did. Resource boosters do not work for the actual mission itself. But yes, there it is. It actually looks pretty nice. I just wish when you were standing still it pooled on the floor. That would just make this so much better. But anyway, we'll leave this off here for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.